Do y'all know who led the Bulls in rebounds and assists all those years? Scotty. Scotty was the one. Besides for Dennis Rodman, of course, Dennis Rodman was leading them boards. Like I said, Michael Jordan had somebody else to go out and do that dirty work. LeBron has had to go out and get the rebounds, get the assists, get the other teammates involved, make them better, and be a scorer. And he passed Michael Jordan in scoring, and everybody want to say, well, look how long he's played. Michael Jordan took all this time off. Well, that's more of a testament to LeBron James. What if he would have took 2 years off? How fresh would he be? And Jordan, you quit on your team twice because you couldn't have the coach you wanted. But yet, what has LeBron continuously done? Had different coaches, different teammates, different systems, whether it be in Miami, back in Cleveland, under a different coach, under Lou, under Mike Brown, then back to LA, another new system, another new group of players, and he always is the common variable to make it back to the finals and compete for a championship. That's the part that killed me. See, Jordan, you had Scottie Pippen to do that dirty work for you. You had Dennis Rodman to do that dirty work for you. All you had to do was worry about scoring. And if LeBron took as many shots as you, let's just say LeBron took 1,000 more shots. I'm talking about a whole 1,000 more shots. Jordan is still, even though LeBron played 17 years and Jordan 15 years, Jordan done took 1,000 more shots than LeBron. And that's crazy if you sit up there and think about it. So, another thing that really killed me is that I got to sit back and thinking. So, if you really think about this, most successful teams that won a ring in this league have been competing for a finals, have won the finals for the past 30 years, has had a dynamic duo. And people want to say, well, LeBron, he got AD. He got AD. So what? So what? Every team that won a championship, there was a dynamic duo involved. And I can give you examples. So throughout the whole 80s, when Magic Johnson went to 9 finals in 12 years, when the great Magic Johnson went to 9 finals in 12 years, who was his sidekick? You could say in the early years, well, he had Kareem, one of the greatest of all time, the best center of all time. He had Kareem. But of course he had James Worthy as that sidekick. Of course he had Cooper, he had Byron Scott, he had other great players that they could knock down threes and who he could facilitate to, being the great Magic Johnson that he was. But at the end of the day, he had a sidekick. So whether it was Kareem at first and then Worthy later, he still had a sidekick. The Celtics, as great as Larry Bird was, did he win Finals MVP every year? No. Larry Bird had a sidekick. Name was Kevin McHale. And even though they had other great players like Robert Parrish, Dennis Johnson, Danny Ainge, other great players who could play ball and could actually play off the dribble, who didn't need anybody to facilitate offense for them, who was capable of creating their own shots. And that's funny that I should mention those same Boston Celtics. That's the one Jordan could never beat. Never beat the Celtics in the playoff. Never. So until Bird retired, Jordan never beat the Celtics in the playoffs because, like I keep telling y'all, it's a team sport. So going back to what I was saying. So Magic had Worthy, or he had Kareem during this run as his sidekick. Even Dr. J. Dr. J could never get it done. Dr. J was one of the greatest. People overlook Dr. J all the time as one of the greatest hoopers ever because he spent a lot of his time in the ABA. But the thing is, until they went out and got who? Moses Malone. Once they went out and got Moses Malone and he got a dynamic sidekick to make that dynamic duo, then what happened? That was a championship. Before Moses Malone, Dr. J wasn't winning that championship. So all throughout the 80s, you could see Magic Johnson and Kareem, or Magic Johnson and Worthy, or you could see Bird and McHale, or you could see Dr. J and Moses Malone. And then who was the next dynamic duo to go on and win a championship? Who was that? That was Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars. Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars. Now, of course, they had Bill Laimbeer, the microwave Vinnie Johnson coming off the bench, Mark Aguirre, Dennis Rodman. You know, a lot of great players. But you talking about a dynamic duo in that backcourt, then you talking about Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars. Hell, I'd take them against Steph and Clay right now because of their ability to play defense, even though the three-pointer wasn't a big thing back then. But trust me, them boys could shoot and light it up. So if they wanted to, then of course, If that was more prevalent back then, they would have hit a lot more threes. Hell, I take Isaiah Thomas as one of the best point guards of all time. He's so overlooked. Isaiah Thomas went to the 88, 89, and 90 finals. Got cheated after Game 7 against the Lakers, if the truth be told, with that phantom foul for Kareem. And then went on to win another finals in 89 and in 90. So that's a dynamic duo. Joe Dumars and Isaiah Thomas. And then that ushered in what? The next great dynamic duo. Because Jordan, before Pippen, you wasn't getting it done, my boy. You wasn't getting it done, Jordan. So then it was the Jordan and Pippen combo after that. So then, what other great combo won the championship after that? The Spurs did get one in 99. We're not going to overlook that shortened season, 99. But who was that great duo? You had Tim Duncan and the great Admiral David Robinson. That's a hell of a dynamic duo. So don't get that twisted up. Don't get that twisted up. And then what's another great dynamic duo that came right after that? Oh, could have been Kobe and Shaq. Could have been Kobe and Shaq. Went on and won 3 straight championships. That's a dynamic duo. Kobe didn't do it by himself. Shaq didn't do it by himself. I'm telling y'all, all these finals had dynamic duos. So then after Kobe and Shaq, then who beat them? The Pistons. Well, the Pistons had a great defense, and they had a lot of good players. Rasheed Wallace, Ben Wallace, Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton. But I would argue that dynamic duo right there was Billups and Rip Hamilton. Because that was a hell of a backcourt that you had to contend with, because they locked you down on the defensive end. And Billups, they don't call him Big Shot Billups for nothing. You understand what I'm saying? That was a dynamic duo that went on to contend for a few championships as well, even though they lost the one against the Spurs. And then you talking about the Spurs, that's another dynamic duo. And I would dare say that dynamic duo consisted of Tony Parker and Tim Duncan. That is a hell of a duo. Then you sprinkle in Ginobili. You sprinkle in Kawhi Leonard. Other great players. Come on now. Hall of Fame players. We're talking about 4 Hall of Fame players on one team. That's what LeBron competed against. 4 Hall of Fame players on one team. Versus Jordan going against Phoenix. 1 Hall of Famer, Charles Barkley. Going against Portland. 1 Hall of Famer, Clyde Drexler. You see what I'm saying? Going against Seattle. 1 Hall of Famer, Gary Payton. Oh, but Sean Kemp was great. Man, Sean Kemp didn't do nothing but go to a buffet line and gain about 300 pounds. He was good for a couple of years. Great mean you consistently do it like LeBron James. He the only one that's doing it consistently. And people say, oh, that's a knock on him. Oh, he's just been doing this for so long because he's been doing this. It's 17 years. He's just piling up stats. Okay. If he's been in the league 17 years and that's just a case of piling up stats, how long Vince Carter been in the league? 20 years. Vince Carter been in the league 20 years. Now, he piled up stats, and Vince Carter, I'm a big-time Vince Carter fan. Trust what I'm telling you. But did he do what LeBron did? No. That's what I'm telling you. It's called consistency and greatness. It's not just consistency. It's consistently being great, like GOAT James. You understand what I'm telling y'all? So, getting back to the main point of the status, going back to what I was saying, the dynamic duo of the Spurs. And then after that, who else started winning championships after that? Kobe. Kobe never had to get him a championship. If y'all forgot, Kobe was about to leave. Until who did he get? Who did Kobe get? Pau Gasol. And when he got Pau Gasol, that was a dynamic duo. And then what did they do? Win championships. Boston too. They took it one step ahead, and Boston was the first one to get the big 3, so-called. And I will say there was a big 3, because Paul Pierce was a hell of a player. Kevin Garnett, hell of a player. Ray Allen, hell of a player. All 3 Hall of Famers. Then you sprinkle in Ray John on that, you had a hell of a team. But then who broke that team up? Paul Pierce and all. We sent LeBron packing. We sent the U-Haul for him to go to Miami. Okay, is that something to brag about? If me, Bruce Lee, and Muhammad Ali go beat up Jet Li, is that something to brag about? 3 against 1? So then what did he do? What did he do? He went out and got him 2 players, Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. And people say that's a big 3. No, fam. That's another dynamic duo. LeBron and D. Wade. Chris Bosh, anybody could have filled that position. No knock on Chris Bosh, but he'd probably go to the Hall of Fame. But at the end of the day, you could have plugged any power forward. Amari Stoudemire in there. I mean, anybody could have did what Bosh did for the most part. So then he went back to Cleveland. Oh, they added Kevin Love. Oh, that's some kind of big three. What the hell did Kevin Love really do? He had moments in the playoffs. Don't get me wrong. He had moments in the playoffs. But at the end of the day, Kyrie and LeBron. Kyrie and LeBron, that was the dynamic duo. Kyrie and LeBron. Oh, so that leads me to the next great team who won championships. The Golden State Warriors. And who was that? Steph and Clay. What a hell of a dynamic duo backcourt. You see what I'm saying? And they added KD, then it became Steph and KD with a sprinkle of Clay. And that is the true big three for real. You know what I mean? But dynamic duo. At least two. So now that LeBron, anytime LeBron has just had one other great player, it equaled finals. All the years in Cleveland, he had trash around him. Wally Zerbiak was your starter. Anderson Varejao. Ilgauskas. Eric Snow. Man, y'all better stop playing. And he drugged that to the final. Come on. But then every time that he get one good player, then it equals finals. Think about it. He been in the league 17 years. That's 10 finals. The 7 years that he didn't go, he didn't have a good player with him. So basically the equation is LeBron plus one more good player. And I'm going to tell y'all something. Before LeBron got hurt and Brandon Ingram and them started doing all that crying and being babies, I bet you Brandon Ingram wish he would have went out and played hard instead of giving up on his team. Because really, if Brandon Ingram would have playing hard with Kuzma, I think that could have been a hell of a dynamic duo on Big Three. Them boys was long. You talking about LeBron James, you talking about Kyle Kuzma, you talking about Brandon Ingram. They would have gave people fits. And JaVale McGee, they was long. I would have loved to see them make it to the playoffs that year, but it wasn't meant to be, so we won't dwell on that. But like I just said, I gave y'all a complete rundown of the past, since 1980, 90, 2000s. Damn near, what's this? 90, 2000, 2010 to 2020. I done gave you 40 years of breakdown of the formula in the NBA to win titles. And that's a dynamic duo. And people want to say, want to criticize LeBron because AD is on there. Man, y'all need to shut up. Man, wake up and realize what's going on around y'all. Poison and disease and generic control over your life. But anyway, be new, saying right on to the real, death to the fakers. We're going to come back with some more videos real soon. I got a lot of things on my mind when it comes to this LeBron James debate with this GOAT thing, when it comes to Michael Jordan. But anyway, click that bell right up to the left, subscribe, you know what I mean, share, and let's start a movement, baby. Hashtag let's start a movement, be new, baby. Right on to the real, death to the fakers. I'm out.